Hey everybody, this is David again, Barnyard Bees. Got another swarm on the same tree I caught the last one on. This was a little bit more difficult. It was around the branch, the main branch of the peach tree. So this is the second swarm that's come in here. I'm just kind of sitting up under the tree here, watching it. Just kind of watch them do the march. I don't have my sandals on today. But they're sometimes when you don't get the queen, see how they're trying to go back into the tree a little bit. It's just hard to shake like that sometimes. So what we'll do is we try to get them to do what they call the march. You can see some at the entrance fanning going in. Sometimes you blow a little bit of smoke on them and see how they're kind of, there's my trusty smoker. You just smoke a little bit on that side, get them to move a little bit. They're still a little bit trying to go up on the tree trunk. I hope this shows up. It's shaded right here, but maybe it'll show up good. Sometimes that smoke will get them to march a little bit faster. See how they're all kind of fanning their wings coming around the corner and right in the box. So I'm trying to get in through the top, but I have a lid on that for now. But they look now like they're getting committed to the box. They're doing the march. See how watch them coming around the corner there. For the new beekeepers, if you ever shake a swarm, watch. Sometimes you can blow a little smoke. See how they're trying to accumulate up here on top. And the pheromone sometimes is still there, or the queen flies back. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but the majority of them are going right down into the box. And I just keep blowing some smoke, trying to encourage them to get away from the bad old tree. These are really gentle bees right here too. I'm sitting here in shorts and a t-shirt on and sitting, well, you can see my foot right there, it's just a couple feet from it. I'm just sitting here kind of on the ground watching them do the march. And we're lucky here with our bees because they're very, very, very gentle stock of bees. And most likely this is one of our hives. I'm really not sure why we're getting so many swarms, because when we go through our nukes, we do splits and they're not real strong after we do splits, and then we sell nukes. But there was a lot of bees in this swarm, and that first video I did was right over there in that big pine tree, and it was huge. It was bigger than a basketball. And yeah, it's possible they could be coming from another yard. I know my neighbors just down the road have bees, but usually bees don't swarm that far away from their mother hive. It's most of the time it's within couple hundred feet. So I'm just watching them. I need to pull back the entrance there a little bit where they can, we got weeds under this tree. But they're fanning. See how, if you can see on video, see how they're fanning. Always look for that. Like I said, if you're a new beekeeper and you shake swarms, they're standing at the entrance fanning. That's a good sign. A lot of times, you know, they sense their pheromones, and there's getting less and less bees after on this box. They're up on the limb, I mean, sorry. And we're just smoking them. It looks like they're all following suit and they're going right in the... Now, one thing I did different, now here's an idea too that some, especially new beekeepers, a lot of times you have trouble with swarms staying. Well, there's ways to convince them very strongly not to go, and it's not pinning them up. If you have a spare frame with brood on it, put that in the center of your nuke, and I did that. I went through one of my 10 frames down there and pulled out a frame I had, and I shook it. I just did a light shake on it because it did have brood in it, and put it right in the center of the hive. And that gives them something, that gives them a lot of encouragement, because now they have babies to tend to, and it's harder for them to walk away, to fly away. I don't guess they'd walk away, to fly away from that. So that usually helps. So if you're a new beekeeper and you have some extra frames of brood, put your frame of brood in there when you shake it. If you have drawn comb, that helps out a lot, especially if it's older, not black older, but just usable. And that all encourages them to go in the new home. Now this is a pretty good size swarm here. The length of it was, I didn't get to film it before the video. It was probably about 3 foot long and pretty good size around, about as big as your leg around. So it was a pretty decent sized swarm. And what I'll have to do, because actually this box that I'm using on top as the funnel is actually a super for these nukes. So once I get in there and establish, I'll open it up and see how many is in the bottom. Just by opening the bottom, you can tell how crowded it is. And I'll probably take that super and put more frames in it, and that'll be a double deep, more than likely. Like that first swarm I shook that I did on the video is right there, that yellow, that double yellow. That was the first one I did. The second one I did is right here on the end. It's a smaller one. The swarm was about the size of a smaller than a soccer ball, bigger than a softball. It was decent size. Yeah, it was pretty good size, but not huge. And then this one was kind of in the middle. It was still big. It was a big swarm. And I know once they start swarming in a certain tree, it kind of like the pheromones stay, so that other bees will swarm to that also. So, but it's looking good. They're slowly disappearing out here up at this tree. They're showing less interest, and now this is the blessings about having a swarm down to the ground. The ones up high are a pain, and you just can't sit here on the ground like I am and coax the bees to go in a little at a time. I've got four swarms this year, and in this yard, and 2 or 3 that just occupied empty boxes, and that's always a good thing. That's better than the swarm. And so they're doing good here. They're going in. So this looks like a success. What I'll do later on or tomorrow, I'll put that super back on. I'll put the frames in. I'll put a feeder on it, a high top feeder, feed them up good. They're in draw mode, so I'll put as many blank frames as I can in there, because they're in swarm mode, so they're going to draw out frames really, really fast. But I had to share this, another video. Please like and subscribe. Please share your my videos, if you would, to anyone that you know that likes beekeeping. I'm trying to get out as much information to people. I love doing these videos, and I love enjoying seeing the views pile up and the subscribers. It's just an enjoyment I like doing. I like share stuff like this. It's just, to me, it's just fun. But thanks for watching Barnyard Bees.